Hi everyone, it's Anna here from Vinban Caerdydd. Welcome to week 9 of quarantine and this week's Saturday sipping session, which is all about Rioja. So if you don't know me, I spent about 5 years living and working in Spain, which is probably where the whole passion for wine thing came from. And I thought today it would be really nice to talk about Spanish wine, as it has always been and probably will be one of my favourite wines. So today we're going to talk about one of the most popular Spanish wine regions, which of course is La Rioja. I did want to film this outside today, but it's windy AF, and so I'm just going to have to stay in, but that's fine. Got some nice flowers behind me, if you can see, courtesy of my lovely friend Mali. Thank you very much. And so, yeah, let's just dive right in. So, Rioja, first things first. It's pronounced, the J in Spanish is pronounced ja, so if you speak Welsh, that should be nice and easy, but obviously not all of us are Welsh speakers, so I've heard people say Rioja, which I think is a perfectly decent way of pronouncing it. Just try not to say Rioja because you sound a little bit like a lemon. A Rioja is Tempranillo based with the addition of Garnacha or Grenache, Mazuelo, which is also known as Carignan, or Graciano. Now, Tempranillo is the 4th most widely planted grape variety in the world and the most widely planted premier black grape variety in all of Spain, where 87% of the world's plantings of Tempranillo are. Tempranillo, which I'm just going to move this, it's in my way. Tempranillo comes from the Spanish word temprano, which means early, because it ripens a lot earlier than the other Spanish grape varieties. It likes a warm climate so it can ripen fully, but it does kind of favour slightly cooler sites so it doesn't lose all of the acidity. This is also one of the top varieties blended into port, although in Portugal, Tempranillo is called Tinto Roriz or Aragonês, I think. Martha, I'm so sorry about the pronunciation. Tempranillo wines will usually have flavours of cherry, strawberry, cinnamon, especially when young, and then they will develop into blackberry and fig, tobacco and leather. Not like your pleather sofa, more like a musky cowboy. The region of La Rioja is in northeast Spain, which I'm going to show you on my map. The region, as you can see here, is then split into 3 sub-regions. The sub-regions are Rioja Alta, just here, Rioja Baja, just here, and Rioja Alavesa, which are just here. Each region has a slightly different climate, and they'll also use different grape varieties to blend with the Tempranillo. Rioja Alavesa is north of the River Ebro, and the wines here tend to be the lightest with the most finesse. Rioja Alta, alta meaning high in Spanish, is south of the River Ebro and at the highest altitude, so this area enjoys more of a cooling effect. So the wines here will have really, really bright fruit flavours and higher acidity. Rioja Baja, on the other hand, are at a lower altitude with a much warmer Mediterranean climate. So the wines here tend to be much higher in alcohol and much lower in acidity. Traditional Rioja is always aged in oak, usually American oak, which will add those classic flavours of vanilla, coconut and sweet spices. But there are places that are using French oak, which add more kind of subtle flavours of dark chocolate and coffee. In Spain, wines are labelled according to age and how much time they've spent in oak. Tinto or Roble means that there's no real aging requirements. So basically, they've seen very little, if any, oak whatsoever. Crianza means it's aged for at least 2 years, with at least 6 months of those in oak. Reserva means 3 years of aging with at least 1 year in oak, whereas a Gran Reserva means a grand total of 5 years of aging with at least 18 months of those in oak. Riojas can basically be split into 3 different categories. So you have the first, which is a young style. These will be really fruity with juicy red fruits, maybe a bit of herb and a bit of spice. The second is wines that have had a little bit of oak. So these will have red and black fruit flavours. Then maybe vanilla, more sweet spices. And then the third is a heavily oaked or a wine that's aged for a long time. So these will have dried red and black fruits, probably more tobacco, lots of oak flavours, and then a touch of leather and earth and savoury notes. So the wine I have to taste today is a Cepa Lebrel Rioja, which is a Reserva 2015 from Lidl. This cost me about £5 because I'm cheap as chips at the moment. So I'm going to crack this one open and let it breathe a little before I get to the tasting. So I will see you in part 2.